Hi everyone, this is Olivia. Today we are going to focus on contouring, and what you will learn is how to take an image, say like this, and be able to bring out parts of it. The more important parts are the parts that you want to emphasize. And you can do contour drawing all by itself. I'm just using contour drawing in addition to what we did on our last project as a way to build on it. I do know I mentioned in one of the videos when I was painting these about using contour on top of them. I personally think, other than the little center there, that these are complete images in themselves. But using contour is just an additional way to emphasize parts of it and to make a totally different look. So what you want to do, because markers are not forgiving. Watercolor kind of is some of the time. Markers, never. So you want to test your markers and see what kind of a line you want. See, this one's almost dry. But I have found for me personally, if I'm working on something small like this, that the markers that are almost dry work well usually, because when they get to a certain point, and I don't think this one's there yet, they give kind of a, well there, this is starting to right there, give kind of a scratchy sort of look, which has a visual effect of kind of going in and out. And to me, that's just perfect. Okay, so we will go ahead and do some of this one. I left this intentionally blank so I could use the marker to fill in the stamen just for a different look, so you can see how it does. And it almost looks, well, let's see, we have this one right here. That was done with watercolor, but they almost look the same. So if you like the dry look where it will not bleed and you are going to do something like this, then don't do your stamen until it dries and use your marker. Okay, so giving this some thought, in this type of contouring that I'm wanting to do, you don't want to outline everything, because that would be called outlining everything. This is contouring. So you want to do the part that you want to emphasize. And I have found that broken lines oftentimes, if not most of the time, seem to have more movement than a solid line. So I do that quite a bit. I'll break up my lines. So just using my imagination, I would say this part right here is in the shade. This part is in the sun. So I would probably emphasize the shady side more. So I would go in and just do parts of it. Like here, I probably wouldn't do because the leaf is coming over. Okay, like so. And then on the leaf, I would typically do this part, but because it is in front of the stem, I think I will go ahead and do that part. And then maybe a little tip here. Same for down here. This leaf, I think, is coming out in front of the stem. And you have to use your imagination a little bit on these. See this dip here and how it goes out there? That might actually be a good place to do a little contour. There we go. And like I said, scratchy is good. But of course, now the marker won't cooperate. Okay, so we'll go up here and we'll do a little bit of the petals. If you see a part where visually it looks like there is a bend. Like to me right here, this part looks like it goes to the center and then it's coming out because it's lighter here and darker there. So I think that would be a good part to emphasize. And I also like on the edge, oh, I hope I'm not blocking your view. On the edge, you can see how it goes like this and then back in a little. Those kind of wiggly lines, I think are really nice. I'm not saying these aren't, because they are, but it might be kind of nice to put that little wiggle in there. Now, mind you, it's all up to you and what you think will look good for whatever it is that you're doing. But I want light. I don't want quite that heavy. Okay, so I did that one. Now maybe I'll do a little bit of that. And another thing is being predictable, I would say, is not as good as unpredictable. Okay? Ideas to consider. Vary the width and lengths of your strokes. Avoid being overly predictable unless that is your goal. In general, don't make strokes in the same place every time. Here's an example. In this flower, it has lines on the same side of each petal, which does make it more predictable. Avoid overly thick lines unless that is your goal. Use thinner lines because they blend in with your image better. It makes an easier transition between the two. Are the lines on the inside of the petal really needed? The answer is probably not. Overall, if whatever you're doing doesn't enhance your image, don't do it. It's kind of like doing things in odd numbers instead of even numbers. So since I did this one and this one, you would expect me to do this one, and this one, right? So we want to break that up a little. So what we will do is add just a little piece right there. And then maybe here, there. Now it's starting to cooperate a little better. Maybe it's because it's been in the air for a minute. And so maybe then go over here. Kind of like that because that's a little more rounded right there. And just go in and fill in where you think it helps the image have emphasis and where it has kind of an in and out type feeling to it. And when you get that done, then take another look at it and decide if you need any more lines, any more areas of emphasis on that image. I think that little spot right there is a good one. And now we don't have any on the right side stem, which is fine. We'll just leave it that way. And if you want to, a lot of petals, not all, but a lot of petals kind of have a way of going on the petal itself. So if you want to, you could find a spot like that and add another line or two. Say right here might be a good one. So since you put one, it's probably a good idea to put another one here or there. So where would we want that? Maybe right there. Some flowers, you kind of can see a little bit. Well, I don't know if I like that one. But that's okay. You cannot undo it. Let's move on to this one. Okay, once again, I would probably take the stem that I would think would be in the shadows, which would be the right side on this one. There, that's a little scratchier. Which, I do like better. To me, it just flows a little better. And I'll do the underside of this one. And it looks like, I did this in one stroke, but it looks like here is an edge of the leaf and here is an edge of the leaf. So I'll go ahead and play with that. And put a little mark there if I can get it to cooperate. Okay. And then we'll come up here, and we're not going to do this much. This was mostly just to kind of show you, but we'll do a little bit. And I'm going in towards the center and then back out. It doesn't really matter though. Anyway, it's fine. If there's something that you need a little more clarification on, please stop, rewind a little, and watch it again. That way you'll have a really good understanding of it. Okay, back to what we were doing. All right. Maybe one little bit there. And that's really all I think I want to do to that one. Okay, we'll move on to this one. Let's see, what else can we do that's a little different? Okay, well, go in here. I just thought I'd pop in and mention that if at any time you get tired or need a break, all you have to do is click that pause button and I will be here whenever you get back. It's always better to take a break and stretch out, get refreshed, and then continue on. On this one, we made a small little line in the center. And you can see how that kind of just pulls your eye in. And we could leave it at that for the petals. Or we could add a few more darker stamen if you want. Or some petals have little dots. I think, is it tiger lilies? We could do a few of those. That's kind of going outside of the contour thing, though. Okay, so there we have that one. And now we will just make a couple of lines on this one for emphasis. I think these two seem to be coming towards me more, I think, and these three are receding a little bit. It's kind of hard to tell sitting at an angle, but bear with me. Okay, where this kind of does that thing might be a nice tiny little line. Well, let me see. What do you think? No, it stands out too much. Maybe I should add let's see, how's that? That's making it a little bit better. I think maybe I should do one more right about there. Let's see, how's that? Yeah, I think that looks better. Okay. And then now see, this leaf looks like it's behind the stem. Alrighty, and we'll do a little bit here. Okay. Yeah, I kind of like where the dots are on this. It makes this part look really recessed, you know, visually. So I think that's good. I like the lighter, squigglier, scratchier lines. This one, I think the contour lines are probably too heavy. But that's how you do contouring on top of whatever it is that you are painting, if you would like to do contouring. Now see here, this teeny tiny little stem. Let's see if I can get it. There we go. Maybe a tiny bit there. All right. Now what this is, I don't know. If it were a bud, I'd say it needs to be about half that size. Maybe it is just the flower blooming. How's that? Okay, so there you have it. 3 different contoured flowers, done slightly in a different way. This one would have worked well if I would have had a thinner line, I think. This one I think works fine. This one, surprisingly to me, is my favorite. I really do like the dots, the way they work in there. And I actually like this. And this little skinny thin line. Okay, maybe we'll do a little bit of this one. If you go over to Patreon, I am doing a separate project there using contouring. It's sure to be a lot of fun and very informative. I hope to see you there. If you would like to reference the project where we did the watercolor flowers, I will link that at the end of this video and in the description box below. I'm excited about the next project. I hope you'll be able to take part in it, and if you can, email me photos of what you've created so I can put it in my collage video at the end of the 30 different projects. Okay, have a great day. Much love, Olivia.